what's up, everyone? This is your man, Coach Demond Cowins. People know me as DC. You already know from Jersey. This is Hoop Navigation. Man, we got a special guest, special guest, man. Hopefully he'll be back. Special not because of his talent and the type of character he is, but man, he's special because his family. So anytime you get an opportunity to like show love and and give back, and also just listen to some of the stories, man, and his family is always a beautiful thing. So we just gonna get right into it, man. I just want to welcome, Deandre Bembry to the show. You know what I'm saying? Good to see you. You're looking good over there. You know what I'm saying? Looking good.
Stay young, right? And trying to stay young out here, man. Appreciate it though, cuz.
Well, you're looking good, man.
They don't know now. They know. It's definitely
now they know. Appreciate that. So what most people know, man, because you was in the league for a minute, man. I mean, you got drafted 2016, 21st pick, man, in the first round. So it's like, what was that feeling, man? Like, what was that feeling when you heard your name called and it was just like, well, I mean, what was that feeling like?
Basically, just depends on which time you're talking about, right? Exactly like 5 minutes before I got drafted, I got the call. I think it was Mike Budenholzer. He called me, I think 5 to 10 minutes before, and a couple other people from the organization. And I kind of knew a little bit, like 5 to 10 minutes ahead of the time. So during that call, I went to the back room and I had like a little private party. Obviously, you were there, had a private party with the family back in Jersey. So had that call, and then I instantly just started crying, man, because, the feeling that I had, it was a lot of feelings at the time, and just being able to see, one of my dreams come true, I knew it was a blessing. So all the feelings was pouring out. Me and my mother, I think my grandmother snuck in the back room and seen us in there. She came in there and started crying. So like you said, man, you already know our family is really big, and we're big on family. So it was dope at the moment. Like I said, had that moment, cried in the back, and then actually seeing it on TV was just another feeling, right? Like you said, 2016 was the year, but I remember it like it was yesterday, man. I was so happy. Had all my family with me, friends, agents, associates, some that made it in there. But it was a lot of love in the room, and I appreciated it for sure.
Yo, absolutely, man. I was there, man. I got to tell you, man, the energy, the love, the joy, the excitement, man. It was just like, yo, man, he did it. He did it. He made it, man. He made it. He made it first round at that. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, in a little while in that aspect. But like, just think about, man, how did, things change? Like, how does your life change once you made it to the NBA? What are some of the changes?
Yeah, I mean, a lot, man. Of course, I was able to be a first round draft pick. So, my name started ringing a little bit louder. But once you get to the league, man, the schedule was hectic, man. You had to get used to the schedule, used to fans knowing where you stay. You feel me? They knowing the schedule as well. So I was really just getting used to it for real. Like I said, mainly flying from city to city after every game. We might fly to the West Coast or stay on the West Coast for a week or two. So me being from a mid-major school, we travel, but it's going to be not too far. You feel me? A couple hours on the bus, a flight if you get lucky, if your school got enough money. So it was dope to see, man, especially with the Atlanta Hawks, man. It was a blessing, man. They had
go ahead.
No, I was just saying Atlanta Hawks was dope, man, because they had a bunch of new facilities that they was building when I came in, and I was just able to see some of the top changes to different organizations while in real time, and it was dope, man. It was dope.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's I tell you, man. Sometimes people don't really have the moment to like kind of reflect and share that story of like, when they first, just first got to the league, man. And then that next day you had to fly out and you meet everybody in the organization and you just getting acclimated. So it's like, it's a beautiful thing, man. Beautiful thing. So, I mean, let's think about this as reflection. When you go back and you think about yourself as a young hooper, right? And the experiences that you had. And I know you've been watching what's going on in the AAU travel world. What do you see in terms of compare when you came up as a hooper and what's going on now?
I want to say the contracts, right? I feel like the contracts are unlike, American hoopers and EuroLeague hoopers. They can start, playing professionally at a younger age, rather than now,
Yeah.
you know, the contracts are starting to reach kids in college and now some kids in high school or even middle school, with shoe deals and different routes on, trying to touch the
Yeah.
youth. So I just see a lot more money and opportunities for, some of these kids or, students
No
and
doubt.
or parents, as you can see with with the Ball brothers and all of them, and what their father has done. So
Oh,
it's just
absolutely.
and it's so many different new stories that's just coming out where we can all relate to it, and we would of course want to be in those shoes as well. But it's just good to see other people doing it.
Oh yeah, they getting it done out there, man. I mean, now, I I think about it, man. We talk about NIL, man. What you think of NIL back would have been back when you was rookie, A10 rookie of the year at St.
Hey,
Joe's?
I think I'm still getting some back end, man. You feel me? But nah, yeah, that was the thing though. I mean, it was a thing before, before my time. It was a lot of great players in college that had the city on lock and the students on lock, and I wasn't the first one. I was just one of the few. But yeah,
One of
I
the few,
remember
right?
it for sure. Just seeing my number in the window, and it's like, dang, like my last name not on it. But
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 that's
I
your
still
number, and
it
we
still was
knew.
dope to see in the window. It was my first time seeing what was really me, through the window. But at that time,
Yeah.
I was thinking like, all right, but where my percentage at? You feel me?
Yeah, what's going on? Because y'all making some bread off these jerseys right here.
Exactly.
Like, what's
But
going on here?
at the time, like I said, I mean, I was still learning, living and learning, and I appreciated, especially St. Joe's. I appreciated the experience. So I just took it on the chin like every other, college basketball player did.
No doubt, man. So it's so interesting, man. Like some people say, like when they coming out and say they are college prospects, they people think like, yo, you gotta go to a big name school, like a big college, man, in order for you to kind of leave your mark or basically turn some scouts' heads, man. What was that decision like? Being that you had bigger schools interested that you could have gone to, but you decided to go to St. Joe's. So, like, what was that? What was that thought process?
Yeah, being originally from Charlotte, North Carolina at that, the two main schools out there are Carolina or Duke, right? So
That's
I was a,
it.
I was a Carolina dude, and I remember cooking some people in front of the coaches and everything. It's just like, dang, like I couldn't get an offer. It was just, I know most people think this way, but even the people at the top, we still thinking that way too, even if you mid-major or not. But I was thinking, I'm like, dang, I'm not good enough. So to be honest, man, when I took a visit to St. Joe's, I was able to. I was looking at the paperwork too, as far as seniority and the ages of the people that were starting and the minutes that were just being played in general. And I seen
Mm-hmm.
like most of the guys that was starting were coming back being all seniors. So I started. So when I ended up going to St. Joe's, that played the factor. I ended up starting with three seniors and one junior. And then I knew like after that year it would just be all on me. So I played that played a huge factor in it, just me being able
Yeah.
to kind of foresee that leadership role. So just having that visit and just they were on my back too, man. I really didn't want to just go on with a bandwagon university that just kind of found out about me. I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
be close to home, which I was in New Jersey at the time. So Philadelphia was only an hour, not even hour and a half, right?
Yep.
So that those two things played a major factor for me.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I tell you, you know, without saying any names, man, somebody I know they went to Kentucky, and there was a dude that had the ball in their hands in high school, and they was tearing it up, and then they went to Kentucky, and the ball was no longer in their hands because they recruited somebody that was going to put the ball in their hands, and in order for that player to really get like the look of the scouts of what they can do well, they need the ball in their hands. So now the ball in their hands, now you got them playing in a position. Yo, it's a different game. Like now you got to be a spot up shooter. Now you got to be more of a defender because, your role was to be a point guard with a scoring guard, and now the ball in your hands. Now you're the third, fourth option.
And it's crazy you said it because the way I was looking at it too, I was just like, I think I had an offer from Miami, but my feeling was just like the same feeling I said. Basically, I didn't want to go if they wasn't really on me, but I really did want to go to a major, school just to prove people, even though I knew how talented I was and how much I needed to get better. But I felt like going to a major school would have took me to another level as well. You feel me?
I tell you, man, it might have took you to another level, but let's think about it. I know because I was there. I saw basically guys that were ranked higher to you. They were ranked higher to you when you was in high school. And I knew, I was like, man, these dudes are not better than Dre. I said, they're not better than you. But, you know what I'm saying, they end up going to a big school. And when you came out, a lot of them jokers wasn't in the first round. You know what I'm saying? So it was like they went to the big school, but their situation being able to showcase their talent. You know what I'm saying? And I know this. It's a lot of people that, you know what I'm saying, they made that decision to go bigger. And because of dynamics and the situation and structure of that team, they wasn't able to really fit in and really showcase. They end up getting exposed. You know what I'm saying?
And I agree. No, I'm happy. I'm happy with the decision I made for sure. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
You weren't turned up in Miami because you were.
Nah, but I didn't though. I knew myself. I said, man,
you knew yourself.
I'm not even taking a visit out there.
No, I ain't even taking a visit.
I'm not even taking a visit out there. What?
No doubt.
Definitely. And that's why it was funny. Even after my freshman year, schools started calling. All the major schools started calling. It's like, nah, it's over with. It's over with.
Yeah, y'all too late. Y'all too late.
I done had some scouts all season. I think I'm good on y'all.
Yep. And the crazy thing about it, and that's the part that some people don't really understand, and that kind of segues into like this next thing. Like, what are your thoughts on rankings? Like, especially starting in youth rankings, because I know you was playing at some point when you were younger. You was in Charlotte playing with the Charlotte Nets. I know you were at camps and doing all kinds of things, doing your thing, but it was like dudes that had, I don't know if it was the politics or whatever, but they didn't have you ranked, but they had these other guys ranked. So let's just talk a little bit about rankings, because sometimes, people are so concerned about rankings in elementary and middle school and even in your earlier years of high school, So let's talk about what your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think just depends on, where you're at and how you're looking at it. Like if you're ranked and, you're comfortable where you at, like it can help you. Like the rankings can help you, it can sway people online rather than, when they see you in person, it's like, all right, the ranking might go down or fluctuate or go up. But I feel like it can help you, but at the same time, like me, myself, I used it as motivation. So the fact that I wasn't even ranked, I really didn't care for it, but I gave it like fuel to myself, like just because like any guy that they had ranked in front of me, I wanted to see him. Like you had to show me. So don't get me wrong.
Prove it.
I just think the people that are ranked, it helps you, and I think fighting for it is just competition, man. To be honest, just looking at it, like me myself, I didn't care for it because I knew like how good I was and what I needed to do to get to that level. Because I just came out of nowhere, like I wasn't playing school basketball, I really wasn't. So that's why I wasn't really ranked, because they really didn't hear about me. I play AAU every other summer. You feel me? So I was just moving around city to city, so house to house. So I wasn't really as focused early on. So I think that played a factor for me. But
sure,
yeah, I think it could definitely help you for sure if you get on there and you from a lower division school, or just a city that people may not even know of. Like it can brighten up your day. That's like hoop mixtape coming to your city, you know, like it can definitely help you. I feel for sure.
Definitely, I think I agree with you in terms of it helping, especially nowadays. In social media, sometimes I talk with some kids and parents, and they sometimes are concerned if they don't see their kids being ranked in eighth grade, or they're going to these camps to try to get ranked in fourth grade, and it's like it's cool, but at the same time, sometimes they setting the kids up because people like you that weren't ranked, you see that and be like, yo, I'm coming at your neck. So you
Yeah,
got
for
to
sure.
prove it. You got to prove it. Yeah, you got to
Two
prove it,
sides,
man.
two sides of it for sure.
Yeah, it's two sides, but definitely I agree. It does help in this day and age, man. With these different various stars and rankings like that coming out high school now, man. That leads to that NIL bag a little higher when you got a certain ranking. So later
Yeah.
on, it definitely matters. It definitely matters
Nah,
later
it
on.
matters now, but
Yeah.
yeah, like you were saying, parents, you really shouldn't lose any sleep over it. Definitely, I mean, probably as a competitor, as the player, possibly he probably will because he goes to school every day. They talk about it every day. But as a parent, parents aren't always talking about their kids playing sports unless they actually been through it. But a regular parent, they may not be on it like that, and nor would they care. Rather than the player
Right.
really focusing on it and really caring about that. It's like just get in the gym and that'll take you wherever you want to go for real. That'll speak volumes more than anybody online that don't really never play the game possibly. It could be some of those people. You know how some of these rankings be. It's a lot of
Oh yeah,
a lot of internet games.
absolutely. I
You know
mean,
these teams you play for. You know how it goes.
oh, no doubt. No, without a doubt, man. Someone told me they would take their kids or they would take their kids to these different camps, different states. And there's really because it's a business, people are actually paying for their kids to be ranked and for write-ups, man. Like, yo, I heard that and I was like, yeah, man, see, that's just diluting the whole credibility of
Yeah.
whatever's going on a lot of times with these services because that's what they are. They camps and ranking services.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, when somebody got a little bread, that kid may not be as good, but now he's in the top 20 of some class of whatever
Right.
ranking service or ranking or social media, So yeah, I agree with you. The parents, you shouldn't lose sleep and remember, like you getting in the gym, you working, yo, that's gonna take care of itself.
That'll prove them wrong right there.
Yeah, all day long, all day long.
Mm.
So, when you think about it, because you talk about the gym work, man, like what motivated you to put the work in and go hard to achieve your goals? Like, what was your motivation?
To start, I'll say, as a youngin, definitely just the love of it. I think I was born with some type of drive for some type of, energy and competitiveness about myself that I just hated losing, right? And like I said, hating losing and just wanting to get better. That
No
that was my
doubt.
start. As a youngin, like I said, watching playoffs on the West Coast, TNT NBA games as late,
Yeah.
trying to stay up as late as I could.
Yeah.
To NBA street ball. I can name so many different scenarios that I seen. And then I put myself in those shoes. Obviously as I got older, but yeah, I had like I said, just the love of it for sure to start, and then when I entered the league, losing my little brother, and my cousin, that was just another tunnel of something that I had to try to make fuel out of. So
Yeah.
like I said, just to start, definitely just the love of it, the competitiveness about myself for sure in the game itself, and then obviously, like I said, my brother and my cousin, I had to wear them on my sleeve as long as I could for sure.
Yeah, I know that was a real difficult time, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Adrian, man. Rest in peace. Hezzy, rest in peace, man. I just want to say that, man. That's the fam. That was the fam right there. So I know that was a difficult time, man. You pushed through it, man. That's one of the things that as you go through ups and downs in life, man, what is like one thing that kind of help you, you know what I'm saying, continue to keep it moving, meaning that you still had your downtimes, but you was like, yo, man, I gotta dig in. You know, what was something that you would do or would say to yourself, you know, to keep you going?
To be honest, it was different stuff. Every year it was different for me. I kind of was figuring it out. To be honest with you, I didn't always have
No
it. I
doubt.
didn't always have it together. To be honest with you, but
None of us always have it together. So I'm with you with that one. Yeah, go
nah,
ahead.
I can admit my wrongs. I can admit stuff I went through. But yeah, it was day to day, week to week, year to year. Just being able to talk to my family about them. Being able to to think back about talking to the two people that I lost about being in this situation in this spot. It was a lot of different ways I looked at life. To be honest with you,
No
um,
doubt.
but just being in the place I was in and being able to bless myself and my family members. That was really the drive for me.
No doubt, man. You know, and I get that, and I understand that for sure. So, you know, I want to bring it back to the workouts, right? So, you know, I want to know, man. You know, how hard were my workouts back in high school and college, man? When I used to put you through, how hard were they, man? Was there some
Hey,
level of preparation when when you got to college and when you in the league, like, yo, man,
it
this, you
depends,
know.
man. You caught me on my good days, and you caught me on some bad days. But nah, I remember, man. Look, we was in there getting it in, man.
Yeah, sweating.
As many times as Cuz could snatch me up, we was in there. I'm trying to tell you.
We
But
was
it
in
was
there
good
getting it
workouts,
in.
man. You was teaching me what you knew. I was open eared as always.
Absolutely.
And it was just dope just us for us to be there. I know you enjoyed working us out, especially me going
Oh,
through the
no
process
doubt.
of moving back to New Jersey. It was dope, man. I'm not gonna lie, it was dope seeing you and yourself have your kids and take me back to your school. I remember all those days, man. It was dope, man. The workouts was great because you were a bucket yourself.
I
You
appreciate that.
were a bucket yourself, so I ain't about to just listen to any and everybody. But we had enough talks, we had enough workouts, we was family. It all just made sense.
Yeah, definitely, man. And the thing about it, when I say to people, um, you know, there's when you're coaching, when you're training, and the person that you're coaching and training, when they fully engaged and you can see that they're putting that, that work in, it also does something to a basketball purist when you see that. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
When that person is all locked in, it's like it's really a joy, because that's how ballers are wired that way. When you see somebody going hard, you like, oh yeah, that's
For
what's
sure.
up. It's a
For
great
sure.
feeling, and to have family doing that's like, yeah, that's what's up. And I felt good about that, man. It felt great to see. So
Most
um,
definitely. Those workouts
yeah,
definitely, fit right into what I was doing in college. I'm not gonna lie. Don't get me wrong, training in the NBA is top notch, but I think college workouts may be, some of the harder workouts out there.
yeah. I think also, and you can kind of you can kind of like elaborate a little bit on the workouts in the league, because I think there's a certain recovery aspect in the league versus in college. Like they
Mm.
really like, yo, we need to recover
Yeah.
because you know what I'm saying, like recovery, like yo, this is
Yeah,
really
definitely
investment,
the schedule.
really your body. Yeah,
For sure. Definitely on the schedule. But yeah, working out, yeah, I agree. Because the schedule, even going to school, the scheduling, going to school is different too. You go to class, you might work out before you go to class. That's class at 8:30, 8 o'clock. You got to be at the gym 5:36. The scheduling used to be crazy in college too. I'm not gonna lie.
oh no, well, college life, man, and that's the thing that maybe for the parents to really like understand, like a college athlete, especially parents don't understand what that's like. A college athlete, man. Yo, you got the AM workouts, you got class after class. Yo, we might have a midday shoot around. After that, we got film. Or depends on where you at in terms of the season, far as strengthening and conditioning. You know what I'm saying? Then you might have to meet with your advisor. Yo, we gotta check out with this tutor. You got study hall. Like the schedule was crazy. Like I remember, I couldn't wait until December came when it was no school. Like I felt like, yo, that was like the pre-aspect of feeling like a pro. Because all you did was hoop, all you did was practice, you know what I'm saying? And you had games. Right. And it was like no classes. Oh, I couldn't wait the finals.
Right. Like, the classes you were taking, there was only one or two, right?
Yeah, right. Absolutely, man. So it's like one of those things that, man, it is people don't realize how tough it is, man. People sometimes think that, yo, like my kid is the best kid in the neighborhood. He going to the NBA. It don't work like that, man. It don't work like that, man.
It's a fact.
But real quick, I want to get into this right here, man. So in terms of making a name for yourself, like what was your idea? Like in terms, like, yo, when you got, I remember when you got the St. Pat's, man, and shout out to Ray Miller, man. You know what I'm saying? And I remember Ray saying, like, yo, they don't know about Deandre yet. They don't know about Dre. But, yo, he going to be one of them ones, right? So before that even happened, what was your idea? Because people were trying to figure out sometimes, like, how do I get my name out there? How do I, how do I make a name for myself? Like, so what's your tips to any player out there that may not be known, but they may be on a border? What do you think, you could give them some type of tips on that?
Yeah. I'll say just stay focused, man. If you can stay focused and really lock into, what you want, even if it's not, basketball or sports in general, anything that you're into, I think if you just lock in and zone in on what you actually want out of it and work yourself like like a madman or a person with their hair on fire about it, I think, you can dream about it. You can just act on it. I think being able to, kind of foresee where you want to be in life is a start, and then acting on it is like the next move. So I just see it as like I said, you put your time and effort into something, foresee it, and pray on it. It may happen. It may not happen the way you want, or it may not happen as fast as you want. But that's just how I see it. When I start something, I always want to finish it, and I'm happy I can say somewhat I was able to do that. But when you're just looking at it from a clear view and you just want something in life, that's just how I look at different stuff for sure.
Oh man, you just said it. Saying you just dropped some gems, some bars right there, man. And that's the type of message that I think that a lot of players and parents would take heed to. So that was real dope right there, man. So you played on the UA circuit, man. So let's talk about like how did that help you toward your goals? Like everybody talk about AAU and travel basketball. And talk about circuit teams and things of that nature. How do you think that helped you toward your goals?
Yeah, man, it definitely zoned me in. I'll say, especially as a young kid, not knowing what you want to do, but throwing kids in gymnastics and sports early on always just like opens up the kid's mind. I feel like in a way, especially if you wasn't doing nothing and you're just going back to school, and you need something to do. And I was happy that I was able to find that early for myself. I started off playing in different neighborhoods throughout Charlotte, all over. Whoever house I lived in, I found a neighborhood to go, play hoops in, right? But I ended up starting to play at an organization at the YMCA, and that was like my first time, having referees and playing organized basketball. So, like you said, I ended up getting seen by somebody that was with the Charlotte Nets. And that was my first time playing with AAU organization. And it was a blessing for me. I'm not going to lie. Like I said, it was my first time where I needed to start getting my grades together to play for, play AAU as well, because our organization, we made sure your grades was well for you to be able to play. So that was my first time where I had to start zoning in on, like a school and just, being on time for different stuff and, everything, just organizing my life in a way and being scheduled. So it did me, oh man, it did so many things for me that I didn't pay attention to until I got older. But yeah, AAU, it was a blessing, man. My first time being able to travel out of state, see other kids in different states, see some of the top kids that were ranked, and compare myself to them. So AAU it's great, man. I think it's definitely something that I know a lot of coaches and parents have been frustrated with as of recent, but man, I don't know what we would have done without it, right?
Nah, no doubt. I mean, I watched you when you were playing with Team Mazda. I was going to most of those games, man. I watched, whether it was New York, it was down Atlantic City or wherever it was, man. I watched the talent. I mean, you had some dogs in your team, man. You had Hollis Cook. What were some of the dogs in your team on that time?
Like you said, Hollis. We had a couple bigs, Jolene, rest in peace, Dante, Josh Brown. He ended up on the Temple. We had an NFL. We had NFL players on our team. It was a lot going on. Even our younger team, it was Carl Towns, and he was the number one player in the country at the time. I had just moved here. I'm like, dang, it's crazy up here, but I enjoyed it. When I moved to Jersey, man, basketball was high school basketball in Jersey is crazy, man. It's definitely.
Hey, let's talk about that.
Go ahead. What you got?
Yeah, let's talk about that for a moment because people in the world, they really like to talk about how different states got different, who got the best talent. You know what I'm saying, in terms of from statewide. And because I'm from Jersey and I know the legends. I know what Jersey basketball is like. So I'm always going to ride with Jersey, over any state. But, you grew up in North Carolina and you just kind of alluded to something in terms of, when you got from, from down in Charlotte up to here to Jersey, what was that transition like with basketball?
Yeah, man. Well, let's start here. When we start and we say who's the best state, we got to say the whole state. Now, we know North Carolina is a large state.
Very big state, absolutely.
New Jersey is more so just North Jersey, right? There might be a couple down South Jersey, but as a whole, it's just too many people that ended up living in Charlotte or Raleigh. Too many stories out there, right? You got the Jordans, you got the Currys, you got you got the T-Max, the Vince Carters, you got all the feel me?
Yeah, no doubt.
You feel me? But like you were saying, just that move, I enjoyed it because I always loved Jersey. Just growing up, all my family's from Jersey, so the fact that I had the opportunity to move back, my mom gave me the opportunity to move back with her. She said, "Son, I'm moving back to New Jersey." Plain and simple. I said, "Dang, for real?" So I'm like, all right. Once it clicked, I'm like, all right. She said, "You can stay in Charlotte, do whatever you want." So I'm like, all right, this is when I started locking in for real with basketball. So I took a visit to Oak Hill, and then I took a visit to St. Pat's, and within the same week. So I went to Oak Hill, did the whole visit. It was cool. Had a nice workout, open gym. Everything went well on my end, I felt like. And then I went to St. Pat's, and it was just something about when I walked in St. Patrick's, man. It was just like everybody was bigger than me, just as athletic as me. I'm like, what? I'm not used to that. I'm used to maybe every other school got that one dude, but that was my first time.
Yeah.
So many, D1 prospects, I'll say, all on one court. And once I walked in there, I knew it was over with because I was actually supposed to take another visit to St. Anne's. But I felt like I was crossing the line once I once I walked in there with St. Pat's and locked in with some of them guys. So it was dope, man. Just that transition from playing like the Southern type of way and then going up north to, more so the guards, the highly guards, scoring guards and the handles and, street ball type of style. So it was dope to, just to see the difference for sure.
When Kyrie first walked in that gym at St. Pat's, when y'all got them open runs in, man, what was that like?
Oh man, it was dope. It was dope to see. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, all the D1 prospects that was there, I knew some of the guys because they were obviously ranked in front of me, and it was St. Pat, so I somewhat knew some of these guys. Obviously, we all knew Kyrie. So
yeah, of course.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, I was thrown in the fire early, man. It was dope, man. Pickup games. He came back when he was supposed to be the #1 draft pick. During that time, he's still playing pickup with us in high school. So it was dope, man, because I was just still a dog. I didn't care about him being the #1 pick.
That's it.
So, and he didn't know me either. So, all it was, just good competition and all love at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Shout out to my man Kai, man. Good dude, man. Shout out to Dread, man. Real good dude. Solid dudes, man. So, what's a message, to all the players who have aspirations of playing college basketball and making it, to the NBA? What's one message you can give any of those players out there? I mean, they're looking for that opportunity to play college and maybe make it to the NBA. What's something that you can give them, like, real quick?
Yeah, man, just cut off all the distractions for real. I think once you're able to, cut off all the distractions and kind of erase the noise or, block out the noise, I'll say, the sky's the limit. Once you're able to, zone in on what you want out of life and do that at an earlier age, I think, the sky's the limit. You're going to get whatever you want. As you can see, if you want to stream, you can stream. If you want to, jump on YouTube, make some videos, you can do that. Obviously, real estate is out there. It's a lot of different, routes to show how great you are. So I don't think you can only do it through basketball or through football, but you can look at, these sports and scholarships as a gateway.
Absolutely, man. I agree 100% with that, man. So many kids and their parents put like kind of so much into something without the balance. You got to have a balance. I remember, we'll get into a little bit more, but I remember when it was my last like situation of playing basketball, man. And I was like, yo, like, I was like, yo, what's next for me? Because I ain't hooping no more, man. So it's like, that's why, I tell people all the times, man, to keep it, to keep it in a balance. But we'll get a little bit more, more into that a little bit later in the segment. So, like, I heard stories. You giving me a couple stories. I heard, a lot of my people's former NBA players. Some like, yo, what is it like in practice? And the dude that's playing in front of you getting minutes, and you kicking a butt in practice, yo, and the coaches, the assistant coaches see what's going on. Like, how is that like emotionally on you when you like, yo, man, I'm doing my thing in practice and I'm not getting the opportunity? Like, how'd you handle that emotionally? And we'll start with that one.
Yeah, I'll say early on as a young kid, especially as a first rounder, GMs or some of them at least will let you know what's ahead of you, what they expect out of you, what's coming up, at least what they're preparing for you, I would say. When it comes to just on a daily basis and going against or making your teammates opponents, that's what you're gonna get. I mean, it's the best of the best.
No doubt.
It's a reason why, we are why it's only 5,000 to 6,000 that they say, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, it's just a tough league, man. If you can't sell yourself the right way, or communicate or converse with some of these coaches that may not even be trying to, open up, a conversation with you. You got to put yourself in some of these situations and, kind of attack them. Like me, myself, when I was in situations as such, and I knew that I was better than players that were playing in front of me, I made sure that, those everyday practice that we do have and playing pickup, you feel me? You're going to feel it. Like you're going to, like the top players going to always know, like I'm the next one up. You feel me? Y'all got the big contracts.
Yeah.
Next, we talking about straight talent. We gonna keep the talent level up here. You
No
feel
doubt.
me? And that's how I approached it. It was just like it's cool. Like, don't get me wrong, the politics gonna always, be politics, and depending on each scenario, it's gonna be different. But me myself, what always kept me focused was just like locking in and just making the coach giving the coach a reason to play me, right? And that's what I did with every coach. And it always worked for me. Don't get me wrong. Like I've had situations where I felt like I could have played longer, but I've never had that problem not getting on the court. You feel me? Because I was able to, be the favorite teammate. I was able to, always be unselfish. So I wasn't really hard to play with, to be honest with you, because I would sacrifice, and I was so used to sacrificing at this time. It was just like, sometimes you may feel like a bot out there, but it's just like it's for the better of the team.
I'm glad you touched upon that, because the way social media has it, it's like people only watching the highlights of people scoring or breaking ankles. But you just said something that I think that, I think every parent and kid need to understand, like, it's a team sport. So if you're making the right plays, which I always love the way you played the game, man. You made the right plays. If it was time for you to, get a bucket, you did that. If the defense collapsed, you made the right passes. And I think a lot of coaches love that. And then you carved out a nice niche in the league when you was like, Dre out there defending. You know what I'm saying? He out there getting into, like, whoever was the best guard forward, put me on him. I want him.
What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna have a shootout with Trae Young, James Harden, Kevin Durant. I'm not gonna outshoot these guys. You feel me?
Right.
So you gotta, if you're not able to, show other aspects and strengths of your game, it may be tough. It may be tough if you're only good at shooting. If you get in the right situation, it may work for you. But you get in a situation where a coach needs just a defender or just a point guard, set them up. That's why I was always. At least that's what I wanted to be when I got into the league. I mean, I was that with the Hawks for a little bit, but just playing point guard and setting other people up, I knew that would be more of my role because how unselfish I was and how I didn't care about scoring. Even though, like you said, like people see me as a defender in the league, but nigga, like what? I've been on that my whole life. I was the main scorer most of my life. So,
no doubt.
You feel me? Like I'm only naturally unselfish, so that's why I kind of played that role as a defender because, like I said, players I was playing with, I'm not going to outshoot some of these guys, nor do I want to.
Absolutely, and that's the part that like a lot of people don't understand. Like whatever role you have to play to be on the floor, man, that's what you got to be a star in. Like you said, man, the names you just said, man, ain't no way you gonna get a lot of points, a lot of shot opportunities unless they double and triple team and Trae. If they double teaming KD or James Harden, James Harden love to get them shots up. So you ain't gonna outshoot like you said, nothing. So it's like, it's real. Yeah, it ain't happening. So you gotta basically find your fit. And I tell you, man, when I used to come watch those games and I used to come watch you play with the Nets, and I used to be like, man, he out there really, he found his way, man. Like, it was moments I was like, he real comfortable out there, man. Like, you was doing your thing, bro. Like, I was like, man.
Before the season started, Steve's like, Dre, man, it's no way I can't play you. Even though I took the last contract with the team, man, I'm not gonna lie. I made sure every last one of them knew I was the next one up after the top four on the team. You feel me? I ain't end up in the starting lineup for no reason.
Right. And that season, you started. You started, like, you remember how many games you started that season before before everything kind of went a little left with the trade and whatever.
Maybe like 12, 15.
12, okay.
Didn't even play half
but
the season.
You know what? Yeah.
So
yeah.
You feel me? I would.
Yeah, but
people on the bench already knew like I was supposed to be in that spot. Like I said, we day to day. I'm making sure you feel me. I'm making sure y'all know first. Coaching staff, everybody, training staff. You feel me? It was just funny business, but that's the politics of it.
That's the and that's the part that, man. I mean, I hear stories, and it's interesting, like you said, man. The politics play a big part, man. Like whoever that GM, the vice president, whoever, if they rock with you, they're gonna figure out a way. You know what I'm saying? Like they rock with you. Like, yo, I really like them. I really like them.
Yeah,
so
yeah, and no. Yeah, and no. Because business and politics, it's all mesh for them.
Talk to me about that. Give me something. Yeah,
I'm just saying the money aspect. Sometimes it does
money aspect.
Rearrange or trade or move some people around. Sometimes it can make some sense for sure.
Well, the business is going to take priority over the politics. That bottom line, that salary cap, that's. Yeah, I like you, but man, we ain't got enough for the cap, so we're gonna have to bust a move.
For sure. So, like I said, I'm not always against it, even though it kind of worked against me. But it's just you live and you learn.
Yeah, and that's those are the things that I think that a lot of people sometimes don't even know, like what players go through. You know what I'm saying? You see people in the limelight, you see their names getting called. They see the beautiful things that come with the league being in the NBA, but they don't know like how tough it is behind the scenes, man. Like what that locker room might be like. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on that people don't even understand, man. Like you having to move because you just found out you got traded. Like what was that like? Because you played with, I think, 4 different teams, right?
Yeah. So played with the Hawks for 4 years. Played with Toronto for a year. And then half the year played with Brooklyn and then signed with Milwaukee.
That's right. And all those different times, man, you had to kind of pack up and you had to pack up and that was it. Next move. Next team.
Yeah. The crazy thing, because I did want to stay in Atlanta, but I ended up leaving for a couple reasons. But Toronto was cool. I'm not gonna lie. Brooklyn was dope as well. Like my favorite player was Vince Carter growing up. So you feel me? I was living through a dream, just even having a uniform on me. Let alone 2 of my championships in college was in the Barclays. So me myself.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I had
that's right. The A10 championships in the bar. I was there. I remember.
Yeah. So from the ball boys and the staff that worked in the arena, they knew me before. So it was just it was dope. It was dope just being in this situation. So getting traded after it was just like, man, I wouldn't even be surprised. It's Brooklyn. You feel me? I knew the chances, of signing the last contract, and then the past couple of years, we've seen how many players ran in and out of Brooklyn. So like I said, it was just something I had to learn from. Unfortunately, it just ain't working out in my.
Yeah. I mean, now kind of jogging my memory now, man. You had your 2 A10 championships there, and you was at the Jordan Classic there.
Facts.
Remember that?
Remember that. MVP. That's right. Come on now.
Yo, and you know what? I'm gonna tell you, man, because I remember that Jordan Classic game, man. And I saw, they had 2 different right? Now I haven't. I gotta go back and look at. I gotta go back and look at the research. But I'm like, yo, I know you didn't play in the top one, but you got the MVP in the second. But go back and look at them jokers that was in that top one. I'm like, I know my man. I know Cuzzo. Yeah, okay. You get what I'm saying. I already know Cuzzo. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man.
But that go back to the point that you were saying, man. You can't really care what people, rank you. Most of these people don't even know the sport, let alone, you know, the business part or the politics for real. They just ranking you just because it's their job. They didn't even go actually see you. You know, even myself, I don't know if you know of Dave Tellett, but he used to be our guy.
Oh, I know Dave Tellett, yeah.
He used to be our guy in North Carolina.
North Carolina.
Yeah, and he used to have the top camps. He was always the top, you know, one of the top guys that ranked us. And I always seen him, and it's just like, man, you really don't see what I got going on. I ain't never tell him that, but it's just like, I always made it a thing when I did see, or I was able to play around him, because I knew, you know, it was Dave Tellett. And
No doubt.
I ended up meeting him when he, I don't know if he's still with San Antonio, but I ended up meeting him when, a few years after I entered the league in San Antonio. So it was dope to see him too.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Like,
I know, it's crazy.
I'm one of those kids, you feel me?
Yeah, like it's interesting you bring that up, because that memory of like, yo, man, I remember I was young, man. My man was ranking. He was one of the ranking guys, you know, dealing with ESPN, stuff like that, right here. And you like, you ain't really see my talent then. Like, you ain't see my potential then. You know what I'm saying? Like, really, what's going on? You know, so it's like, it's interesting. That's interesting right there, man. So, so on every show, man, I always ask, you know, what's a truth bomb that every parent and player should be aware of?
A truth bomb, probably, to be honest, to tell the player and the parent, it would be, every player won't make it. You feel me? I feel like, plain and simple, what I was, especially like how I was saying earlier, every kid won't make it. Like, you got to look at it on a bigger aspect. Getting a scholarship, getting a degree, you know, just in case, or even just foreseeing and knowing, like, all right, I didn't put all the work in the world. You know how many people I know that done worked harder than me in this sport that didn't make it? You feel me?
That's the conversations that, you know, as you said, that's the conversation people don't understand.
You know, like, and the work I put in was obviously top notch, next level. And I'm just saying, I know some guys that locked themselves in the gym that didn't make it. So you got to look at it, you know, on a real aspect of like, all right, am I able to make it, or do I need to just make these connections with people and, you know, get something out of it? Because now a lot of these YouTubers are getting contracts just playing in random parts. They're not even really like, it's like a cutoff of street ball, but in a way, like, it's still giving kids opportunities that's coming fresh out of college, you know, that don't want to go overseas or can't make it to a G League team. Just looking at it and being honest with yourself, man, just knowing that we all don't make it, but you can still not make it to the major league and do something major as well, you know, in other aspects and or other occupations for real.
No doubt, no doubt. So, I mean, I just thought about this. Have you ever thought about, or anybody ever asked you about playing in the Big Three?
I feel like I got a couple DMs about it before, but nah. I probably me myself, I'm just done with it. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I done had my ride. I enjoyed my time, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm just trying to be behind the scenes, you know, scout, GM, you know, anything of that sort. But my time on the court, I am done. Maybe even coach, who knows?
Hey, man, listen.
Opportunity comes to me, you know, but nah.
That's it. That's it. But I tell you, man, because you have such a basketball IQ and the way you play the game, and being that you was in the league for that time, man, and you're personable, man. Like, you know, you're a man of good character. You know what I'm saying? People rock with you. Like, I could see you being in the front office. I could see you doing stuff and scouting and things of that nature, man. I mean, I see it. You know, being a GM, I see it. So, you know, that's what's up. That's dope right there. So we're gonna close out in a few minutes, but I just want to ask a few more questions. So how did you navigate the the people who only wanted to rock with you because they saw that you were going, you were possibly going to the NBA. So how did you navigate that?
Yeah. I don't think it hit me for real, and I didn't start getting these type of people until I would say college. I think it was harder for people to notice while I was in high school because we all play sports in high school. Some even cheerlead, But yeah, just really looking back at it, I started seeing them in college, so it was easy for me to kind of point them out. My circle is very small, but it's big in the same capacity, right? Like
Sure.
we either locked in or we not. So all that in between, is gonna get kicked out. So it was I don't know. I think I was always born with just good judgment of character of people. So let alone the sharks that's around me, my family. You feel me? So you feel me? Just even making it through, especially by that time. We talking about college. You feel me? My circle already locked in. So if you do get to me, you still got. You feel me? I'm still gonna be able to read you. So I never really had those problems. Like I said, to be honest with you,
Right.
maybe when I got to the league because it was a little more Hollywood, a lot more people and stuff like that. But nah, man, in college it wasn't hard for me to point people out. Like
you saw them coming. You already knew what it was.
If I didn't see them, family members seen them. Coaches, friends. So yeah, like people, those type of people ain't feel comfortable around me. I say it like
right. That. Right. Nah, not at all. Not at all, man. So what was one of your best stories while playing college? And then you could give me one story in the NBA. What was your best stories in college?
Best stories. College. I gotta build it off of those 2 championships probably.
Oh, no doubt.
As a whole, because out of the 3 years, winning the 2, each year was like a learning year for me, and it played a huge factor on everything being divine for me at the time. Like first year, like I said, playing with the older group and knowing that they were going to leave the following year, even though I won freshman of the year and we still won championship, everybody left. So that's when I started hearing noises about the NBA because we made it to the tournament. I had a good game, and that's when I started getting those ringings about the league watching. So I'm like, oh yeah, like okay, let's do it again. So came back that sophomore year, and I was the best player in the conference, but our team was one of the worst. So
I remember.
Me knowing that the league was watching me, I'm just like, man, I can't go out like that because I had a winner's mentality. I mean, I have a winner's mentality, so I didn't want to go out like that. So being invited after my sophomore year to the Nike Skills Academy, that was like my first like time being around some of the top draft picks in my class. It was just like, all right, we got the Ben Simmons, we got the Jaylen Browns, we got the Torian Princes that I ended up getting drafted with. I'm meeting all of the top guys at the time. So after that, I knew it was over with. After I went to that after that camp, killed that camp, I knew I was going to the league after that. So I would definitely have to say those 2 championships, those 3 years in college, because I was learning so much about myself and I got so much better over time. And it just was like I said, divine timing for myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And then probably the league, I don't know. It got to be playing with my favorite player, man. That was just living through that lifestyle, man, and being able to play with him, play with Vince Carter, which was my favorite player, and him actually being down to earth with it was just dope, man. Going through that, everything I went through, and then being able to check off everything else that I wanted to do. It was that was probably my biggest clean story. I would I would say on it.
Yo, I gotta tell you, man. That's a dope story because I mean I don't know how many players grow up being able to be on the same team with a favorite player, man. Like that right there is crazy. In the NBA, that's crazy right there.
And that speaks volumes on Vince, man. Being able to stay in the league that long for kids to get old enough to even play with you. Like, I feel like shout out to VC, man. Shout out to the OG. But hey, he could have been still playing. He could have had that. I feel like after he did his 20 or 20, I think it was 20 or 21 years, he just was like, man, I'm done. But that boy, he could have played another 4. I felt like, I'm not gonna lie. He could have played another 4 years for real.
He probably could have, man, because he was still in shape. And then because he transitioned the game to being more of a jump shooter.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm sure he can still windmill and do all of that shit right now.
What, you think Vince Carter can still do a windmill right now?
Right now. I'm sure he can. You don't think so?
Yo, I don't know, man.
I'll put a bag on that. Shit. That boy, I knew I was a freak growing up, but I seen another freak.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
The freak seen another freak, man. Hey.
I know that was fire.
We're going to have to put that out there. I bet VC could do
it. Hey, Vince, you heard that, right? Yo, man, I don't know. I know.
How old is VC now, man? I don't think the age don't matter.
Well, Vince got to be, 40, 48, 47?
It got to be something like that.
Yeah, I think Vince got to be about 47, 48.
Let me see. Yeah, he's 48.
Yeah. Yep.
All
right, Vince. Can you still windmill? Let's see, man. Let's see.
He got it off the drop step too.
All right, man. So let's talk about one of your toughest moments while playing the NBA.
Toughest moments? I would say my first year. First year was like my first time in life not playing.
Oh,
I think
what was that like? What was that like?
Yeah, a lot of us, had to go through that, especially if you went to a good team. Me myself, I was drafted to a good team. The year before I was there, they did a record-breaking season of 70 games they won that year. The year before I got drafted, so yeah, I kind of didn't know it, but they knew it. They already knew me and Torian wasn't really going to be playing at the time. So, yeah, that was tough, man. Just especially going into the summer after you get drafted and then you get to actually play on the court with these guys and just all right, this it. All right, I'm going to be playing by the time the season start because we thinking shit sweet. We in there doing whatever we want in the we had a bunch of guys out there, a bunch of guards. I had Dennis Schroeder, Kent Bazemore, Tim Hardaway. Shit, Jared Jack was there still. We had a bunch of guards, man. So, and then obviously, like I said, Torian being drafted at 12 and me at 21 to the Hawks. We were, our confidence was at the highest. So, like I said, we went in there with a chip on our shoulders, thinking that we was gonna play, and then season come. They all right, you go to Salt Lake, you go play that G League team, and then you go to this G League team.
Right.
Damn, for real? You going
for real?
For real? This one, the Hawks they ain't have the G League team here with the Hawks at the time, with the Bayhawks. So, yeah, we both got sent to different G League games throughout the season. It was tough. I ain't gonna lie, it was tough. Just not even playing that first year.
Yeah, I mean, when you're used to playing, that's the part that, people that don't really know or understand. Although, you made it to the league, you still want to play. You still want to be on the court and play. So if you're not playing, yeah, you're getting a check. But, bro, I'm a competitor. You're a competitor. You still want to hoop. Right. This is what you've been doing your whole life. This is what you wired and been born to do. and you like, man, my first year ain't really getting no minutes, or I just get sent to the G League. I gotta prove myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, that's real.
Nah, for sure. Carrying chips, doing all the rookie stuff. It happened to me. So, I felt like it was, just a part of the game because I was that kid when I was a junior and sophomore, messing with the kids that was freshmen, just like when I was in high school, a senior messing with the freshmen. It
Right.
kind of, just kind of the same thing. So I kind of,
It was your turn.
Yeah, just kind of respected it, but at the same time, still hungry and wanted more.
So I got a couple more questions for you. This question, because when I finished playing basketball, man, I know I had, even when I was playing, I was in between, teams and contracts, whatever the case may be. I was going through so many ups and downs emotionally, man. It was times I'd be like, man, what? Like, yo, so that's the part. A lot of times, people that never really play at a high level, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't know, like, like the moments. Have you ever experienced like any doubt or depression? You know what I'm saying? During those moments, you know what I'm saying? Like, how's that? And like, have you ever experienced? I'm sure you have, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, what was that like, man?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, every level I've, went through, different emotions that, I couldn't, get a hold of or, understand at the time. But I think that's just life. Definitely when I was in high school, just moving around the city, not always having, somewhere to lay, but, my mother finding ways, to make it happen. So, those trials and tributes, to the upbringing always played a factor. But actually making it was, the reward for myself at the time, And then, like I said, going through another roller coaster in that aspect, growing up to being a man and, wanting to take care of the family and, and being in that situation for the first time was just another thing. Like I had so much pressure on myself, added so much pressure on myself, even after, I reached the destination, I still, wanted to do more. I still felt like I needed to do more, So, yeah, I held myself to a certain level. I was hard on myself, even when I, didn't always have the answers. I always looked out for other people, even if it wasn't, for the better. Like I'm not gonna lie, I felt like sometimes in my lower moments I was being used by certain people, and I didn't really see it. And I feel like it's okay now. Obviously, I kind of can see and kind of read it now, but there were definitely some hard times where I felt being used. I didn't know who I could turn to. I didn't know who I could trust. A lot of emotions was flowing for sure. I mean, playing and not playing, like I said, that aspect of the basketball part. People making up stuff about you online.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot that goes into being a professional on any level. Or any occupation, I would say. Because you always gonna get chitter and chatter, but the best way to respond is just doing what you want and being locked in on it. And that's what kept me going, to be honest with you. Just knowing what I wanted out of life and just moving forward with it, because I was always happy, always loved myself. So
no doubt.
That always held my ground for me.
And that's another part that that a lot of people sometimes don't think about. Like, yeah, you made it to the pinnacle, but yo, you still a human being, and you still got people, you still got family. That just because you know what I'm saying, you made it there, like there's a certain level of expectation. Like, yo, you rich now. Yo, man, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Yo, I need this. And, every month I need this, because if I don't get this gonna happen to me, or this gonna happen. And it's like, yo, my man can't even, I can't even focus on what I need to focus on, because it's constantly this, constantly that, man. People don't be understanding, like, you still a human being. Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you still a human being.
It was just like, y'all really know what I've been through, and yet, like, y'all aren't even acting as such. Like, y'all are still, asking straight for money, or you know,
Yeah.
not even asking how I am, knowing,
Yo, not even, knowing all the trials and tribulations, you know what I'm saying? And not even thinking like, yo, hold on, man. Like, that's not the time to be trying to just think about yourself. Because not even asking how a person doing, what can I do for you? You know what I'm saying?
right,
I know you got
right.
going on. Forget the money,
Never
forget the
received those
bag.
questions though.
Oh man. Yeah, you know, and so that's sometimes that's the dark part of being a professional athlete, man. And then people thinking just because you sign a contract that whatever that contract is, they think you're getting all that money. They don't know about the dues, they don't know about the taxes. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? You might
the entitlement is ridiculous.
like it's
Family,
crazy.
associate, it's all of the above. But like I said, I had some down moments where some of those people did get the best of me. But
Yeah.
I learned from those situations. Kept it moving.
No, and that's it, man. It's all a journey, it's all a process, man. The thing that you learn, it just makes you a better person. You know what I'm saying? You get through it, and then and then you're able to learn it, also teach others. So when you think about it, you know, you were a vet, you went through all types of things, man. What would you give like the younger generation, like that's coming into the league, that's young rookies, these second years, man? What was something that basic advice that from what you have for them, or someone gave you advice and you either took heed to it or wish you took heed to it?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll say like we all see how Ace Bailey and his team kind of went about their draft situation and trying to land somewhere that they wanted, which I'm not sure if
Mm-hmm.
that actually happened how they wanted, but just being able to put yourself in that situation though, to be able to take advantage of your opportunity and land somewhere that you actually know you can get better,
Right.
rather than going to a city that you know may not pursue you or work out for you. Like me myself, I would say that a lot of people didn't like going to Atlanta, obviously because of the lifestyle and all of that. Just like some people don't like to go to Miami or even New York in some ways. But just being able to lock in and zone in what you really want, man, because you can end up in any of these cities, man. Like I said, Utah with Ace Bailey and being in Atlanta or Miami, any of these cities, man. Just being able to try to lock in what you actually want out of this, not just on the court, but off the court. Because off the court is something that's going to keep you around in some of these cities longer than anything. Doing the stuff in the community, locking in with some of the trenches or some of the kids that need to be talked to. Because that was something I did a lot in Atlanta. Talk to some of the kids in certain neighborhoods that didn't want to hear it, because I was one of those kids where I didn't want to hear it either, but just seeing someone that's from where I'm from, would have did a lot for me at a younger age for sure. So just being that stepping stone, that's what I feel like I am, looking at me as an example and just knowing that you can do it whatever you want for real, because I didn't know what I wanted to do, and then I found out what I did, and I made it to the top of the league, top of the level. So
No, I appreciate that, man. Really, really appreciate it. So, if there's any rookies or any younger, guys in the NBA, man, they could always reach out to you to be like, yo, man, they could pick your brain, right? They could always, what I'm
most
saying,
definitely,
be like, yo, Dre, man, like, what you think about it? Because I know you've been there, and I wonder how many of the guys in the league actually do that. You know what I mean? Like, yo, because I know sometimes just when you're young, and when you're young, and you got feel like you got the world by the balls, man. You just like thinking you could do whatever. I don't need to listen to this. I always listen to that. Sometimes,
most
you know what I'm
definitely,
saying? That be the lifestyle, because I know, you know, I never played at that high level of the NBA, but I know what it's like to feel like, man, like, yo, man, I got enough means at that time, and everybody want to be around me. Everybody want to rock with me.
for
Like,
sure.
well, who am I? You know what I'm saying? Who am I listening to? But
Most
Well,
definitely.
listen, cuz man, I'm gonna tell you, man, I love you, and we're gonna do more. We're gonna do this more often, and you know, what we're doing here on this platform is really to just like, provide substance, conversations, meaningful conversations. You know what I'm saying, the real ones. So first, I'm gonna say thank you. I appreciate you, and I love you, man. You know what I'm saying. So, um, for all the people out there, when you tune in, hopefully you got something out of this. You learned something. And all the parents out there, you know, um, just try to take heed to people that have experienced it. Every situation is different, but still, there's always some gems that you can take. So, any last words before we get off?
Nah, I appreciate you, cuz, man. I love you more, man. It's all family business going on right now. And like you said, man, y'all probably will be seeing my face a lot more often.
So real quick, I just want to also shout out, man. Go ahead and tell them what you're doing with your clothing line, the clothing business boutique. What you got going on, man? Because you was always one of the fashionable ones in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? You used to be like, yo, man, look what my boy got on. So
Oh,
what
yeah.
go ahead, yeah. What we got, man?
All right, man. I got a clothing line I'm dropping. I mean, I'd have dropped a sweatsuit, but I really got a lot more that I'm, creating at the moment. So, shout out to Arab, which is Pierre spelled backwards. Um, it's going to be a designer brand, high fashion, and then as well as a street apparel wear. So, you guys will be seeing a lot more of that later on this winter that's coming. So appreciate that shout out though, cuz.
So no doubt. So they could find all of that on your IG,
On
right?
my
They could
IG for
find on
sure.
your
Yep.
IG.
Go ahead,
Okay,
hit
no
that
doubt. Fear the
Feeder
Fro.
95. Go ahead,
Fear the
hit that
Fro
follow.
95. It'll be in the comment section, man, on the bio section of this, man. So I just want to say, man, have a great night, bro, and just enjoy, this up and coming weekend. And lastly, man, I just want to say, a lot of people may not know, man, but big shout out, what I'm saying, to Big Gary, what I'm saying, Bob, what I'm saying, Jaden,
Jaden Springer.
Junior, Springer, that's all
Just
fan
hitting
right
him
there.
early.
No doubt, man. All right, cuz, one love. All right, until next time.
Appreciate that, cuz.
All right, peace out.